Hello everybody, how's it going today? Glowplasma231 here, back in day to do arguably the biggest manga haul I have ever done on this channel, and I say arguably when it is legitimately no contest. This video, I have 48 manga volumes to go over, and yes, that's a lot of manga volumes, but this is not the typical manga haul video I do, because typically I do those in a 2-month period, so all of the manga I bought in January and February of 2025, all of the manga I bought in March and April of 2025, but no, this video is not on a 2-month period. This is the first half of 2025's manga haul. I have not done a manga haul since December of 2024, and it is currently halfway through July of 2025, and yes, I have bought a few manga volumes in July of 2025, but everything I'm showing off in this video is strictly manga volumes that I bought from the period of January 2025 all the way to the end, which was June 30th of 2025. So all of the manga I bought in there, and yes, I have bought 48 volumes of manga, and while that may seem like a lot, I honestly think that this is less manga volumes that I've typically bought in this period, and of course that's because I have been at college. I'm a college student, and my college town does not have a bookstore where I can easily go and buy new manga releases off the shelves, and that is why most of the manga volumes I'll be showing you today have actually been bought in the past 2 months period, into whole May and June, for the simple fact of I got home from college and there were a bunch of brand new manga releases to go through and get out, and honestly, I think we should just go ahead and start this video showing off all of the manga. Of course, it has been a while since I have done one of these videos, so if I am very rusty at it, please let me know and I'll try to get better for the next one. I don't really know what I was planning on to say there, right? But of course, there'll be timestamps down in the video description of all of the manga publishers I'll be going through. Of course, we're going to be starting off with all of the Viz published stuff, Viz Media published stuff, going through the Shonen Jump line, the Shonen Sunday line, the Viz Signature line, going on to Kodansha published titles, 7C's published titles, and Yen Press published titles, and anything else I have to talk about, but this month it is just those 5 categories of manga publishers. And yeah, with all that out of the way, I just say let's go ahead and get started with the big, grand old manga haul. And the first 3 volumes I'm pulling out here is The Bulge Call Song of War 1, Ruri Dragon Volume 1, and Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 26. So The Bulge Call is a very new release, all things considered, in Viz Media. I'm pretty sure this was a volume for June of 2025, and I have read this volume, and I found it very interesting from like a full-on perspective. I didn't really know much about this series, but I'd heard a lot of people talking about it on internet spaces like Twitter and just like manga forums and all of that. And a lot of people were like, hey, the Bulge Call Song of War is really, really good. If I'm not mistaken, this is a manga that runs in Jump Square in Japan. It is a monthly manga. Given the size of this volume, this is a massive volume. It has something like 250 pages. Like, here's Jujutsu Kaisen for reference, and here's the very small volume of Ruri Dragon for the other side of reference. This is a big, fat volume, and it's very interesting. The Bulge Call Song of War sort of seems to happen in like a alternate world of some sorts, even though like the whole name scheme is like, oh yes, it is happening in like the 1300s of this fictional world, where of course on the battlefield there would be people who would play the bulges, these horns, to pretty much send out all of these commands. And our main character, the name I do not remember, I've only read this one volume and it was like a month ago at this point, so I'm sorry, I don't remember this guy's name. It probably says it on the back here somewhere. Yes, Luca is this character's name. And their whole thing is like, yes, they're able to use their bulge, and they have this special power, which is called a branch, which is this tree branch you see coming out of their head. And that lets them pretty much control people using the bulge's sound effects that they pretty much call out. A really interesting premise, and I'll honestly be very interested to check out the second volume whenever it comes out later this year. The other Volume 1 we have right here is Ruri Dragon Volume 1. This is a manga that originally came out in Shonen Jump in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, and we finally got the first volume of the English release, and this has just been a series that I fell in love with almost immediately, so of course I was going to come through and pick it up. This is the story about this girl right here on the cover named Ruri, who one day woke up and she had dragon horns on her head, and it's her pretty much coming of age story as she's going through and getting used to all of these draconic abilities that she is having, which it's honestly just a very interesting volume. Of course, the reason this volume is so small at just 6 chapters instead of the regular like 7 chapters you get in the Shonen Jump first volume is mainly for the fact of like, hey, this manga actually had to go on a hiatus 6 chapters in and didn't really come back until like a year later. And because of that, it was like, oh, well, what are we going to do but just like put the first 6 volumes or first 6 chapters in one volume and sell it in Japan? And it sold really well, and I'm very happy to see we have this now in English, and I just can't wait to pick up the next volume and hopefully have more pages for the $12 price point, because this is a little bit of a small volume, all things considered, right? And the other volume we have here is Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 26. This is going to be the last Jujutsu Kaisen volume I buy, and this is only the 3rd one I have bought so far. Of course, I already own Volume 9 and Volume 21 just because we have the Honored One panel in Volume 9, and I think that panel is really funny and cool. And also, we have the whole Kashimo Tokyo No. 2 colony fight, which was my favorite fight in Jujutsu Kaisen, so I want to have that. And I just really love the composition of this volume cover here, and it's honestly one of the main reasons I bought it, pure much because it looks cool. It also, I really like Gojo. Spoilers, this is the volume where Gojo bites to dust, and it's got the panel in here somewhere, and yeah, it's just, I wanted to own this volume. I'm not going to buy any more Jujutsu Kaisen. It's not one of my favorite series ever, but I feel like as an art piece in general, this is a volume that I want to have, just to be like, hey, I own a volume of Jujutsu Kaisen, right? That's those guys. The next thing we have is Dr. Stone Volume 27 of My Hero Academia Volume 40 and My Hero Academia Volume 41. This is the Dr. Stone volume pretty much compiling all of the short story collections that we have gotten after the main series ended. So I'm pretty sure this includes the terraforming chapter, or not terraforming, the St. Elmo's Fire chapter, along with the 4D science chapters of Dr. Stone. Those weren't the best chapters ever of Dr. Stone, but they were pretty cool things for like after the manga had gone and concluded. Of course, every single character is featured somewhere on this volume's cover, and it's one I just wanted to pick up just because I own the rest of Dr. Stone volume series, so like I may as well pick this one up. Not really too much for me to say about this one, right? And then of course we have My Hero Academia Volume 40 and 41. Again, just the next volumes in those series. We're about to have the final volume of 42 coming out next month of August, if I'm not mistaken. So it's pretty cool to be like, hey, we almost have that entire series. And I legitimately never realized that this cover is All Might and Bakugo in the background. I just realized that. I can't believe that just looking at it, right? But I've actually not given these a read yet. Just, I'm hoping once the final volume comes out, I'll sit down and reread the entire series, all in my physical manga format. But really not too much to say about these besides, like, they're beautiful looking volumes. What can I say? I love My Hero Academia, and even though the series has been over for about a year, my love will never stop for this amazing series. Next up is Kagurabachi Volume 2 and Kagurabachi Volume 3. This is a series that I absolutely love and adore. I'm really happy that the English physicals are coming out so quickly compared to other English physicals like My Hero Academia. But all of that aside, I love series of Kagurabachi on this YouTube channel. If you guys don't know, I do Kagurabachi chapter reviews whenever a brand new chapter comes out. So just really always happy to get these Kagurabachi volumes whenever they come out. And this is actually a series I bought both of these chapters, or both of these volumes, at a Books A Million about an hour and a half away from my college town, just because it is the closest one to me, and I really wanted to get these volumes on the date of release, or at least around that point of view. So I actually have driven about, what is that, like 6 hours total to pick up both of these volumes combined, which is a little crazy for me to say, but it's also just a really fun, like, change of pace whenever I'm at college. But if you guys don't know about Kagurabachi, just go ahead and read the manga. It's about a swordsman whose father was killed, and all of the swords that his father made were big, pretty much nukes. And hey, this boy named Chihiro is trying to go out and get all of the swords back and go on this big revenge plot. And also, it's just a really good series. Go check out Kagurabachi. And yeah, I picked up volume number 2 and volume number 3 during the 6-month period. Now we're going into the section of all of the volumes that I played catch-up on getting, because we have Chainsaw Man Volume 14, Chainsaw Man Volume 16, Chainsaw Man Volume 17, and Chainsaw Man Volume 18. I'm pretty sure that 16, 17, and 18 all came out in this 3-month period, and if they didn't, at least 17 and 18 did, and 16 and 14 just came out last year or something. But honestly, Chainsaw Man was a series that I have been collecting all the volumes of for a while, and for some reason, I just didn't have these volumes. I had a few gaps, all things considered. Like, I had volume 17, and then I bought 18, and it's like, well, I need 16 and 14 next, so what am I going to do? And it was this whole little bit of a thing of like, okay, when we get all of the volumes, pretty much complete that collection. And you'll see a big theme this video is really completing a bunch of manga collections I had, or really working on completing them all together, mainly because Books a Million, which is my main manga retailer of choice, have a very good deal. They often do where it's like, hey, we will give you a really good deal in manga. It's like buy one, get one 50% off. And because of that, it's just a good time to catch up on a bunch of backlog series. That's where I bought pretty much all of these Chainsaw Man volumes. And Chainsaw Man, it really doesn't need any introduction whatsoever. I actually sat down after I got volume 18 and reread all of part 2 of the series. And I can definitely say, it was really good at the beginning. The middle point definitely dips down, and the end is sort of pulling back up for me personally. But yeah, Chainsaw Man, not really too much more for me to say, but here we have volume 16, or 14, 16, 17, and 18 right there. Next on the whole catch-up train is we have Kaiju number 8, volume 8, Kaiju number 8, volume 11, and Kaiju number 8, volume 12. At this point and during this 6-month period, Kaiju number 8, volume 13 came out, but I just never picked it up. It's actually pretty funny because at the day I'm recording this video, Kaiju number 8's final chapter actually came out, and I thought it was a pretty good final chapter. I'm probably never going to like really give my thoughts out on it on the channel, so I thought it was a pretty good final chapter, and I'll be ready to collect the rest of the manga whenever it comes out. I've always thought of Kaiju number 8 as a series that is a jack of all trades, master of none series. It has always been extremely good. Like, I think, like, there's never been a part of it where it's been like, yeah, I'm not really rocking with this. Maybe towards the end where it was just like, we had 2 years straight of a straight battle serialization, and I can definitely understand why some people don't like that, but at the end of the day, I thought it was a very good series through and through, and I'll be excited to pick up the rest of the volumes, but not really too much more to say on these guys. For some reason, I own volume 9 and 10, but I didn't own 8, and I now own 8. It's pretty nice to have that whole filled in the collection, but that's pretty much all of these guys right here. We also have Blue Box volume number 5 and the Elusive Samurai volume number 7. These were purchases I made at a bookstore called Second and Charles. It is a book chain that isn't particularly in my area, but I was on a little bit of a vacation and out of my hometown, and I was near one, so I went there, picked these guys up. I got them for half off their cover price, which back in the day was $10. Remember, Viz books used to be $10. So I got these both for like $10, maybe $11 after tax combined, and Blue Box, not really too much for me to say about it, and The Elusive Samurai, not much for me to say about it either. Just good series that I really enjoy, and someday hope to have the full collections of in my own library, but they're a series I'm sort of putting on the back burner for other series like Kaiju number 8, Chainsaw Man, and some of these other series. I will own all of this eventually, but now is simply not the time. And Volume 5 and Volume 7 were the next ones that I needed in my collection, so sort of the reason I picked up these two. And also, they didn't have any other Blue Box volumes on a discount besides for 5, and The Elusive Samurai had none other on discount besides for 7, so I call that a win-win right there, you know what I'm saying? But I got these two added to the collection. Next up is Ranma 1/2, the first omnibus edition. I was at a Comic-Con and just saw that somebody had this for sale, and I said, why not go ahead and pick it up? This has been a really fun book to read through. As you see, I'm not quite finished with it. I'm about halfway through, all things considered. And I watched the Ranma 1/2 remake anime when it aired. Was it earlier this year in 2025, or was it the end of last year of 2024? I think it was fall season of 2024, if I'm not mistaken. But I watched the remake anime by MAPPA Studios and really enjoyed it, and I've honestly been wanting to read some Rumiko Takahashi works for a very long time, and whenever I saw the manga volume, I'm like, oh cool, let me pick it up, and I picked it up, simple as that. Hopefully one day I can get the rest of these 2-in-1s editions that Viz did, but this is just a very solid book. I like it. I like all of the art on the inside. I like the story. It's just a fun time, you know what I'm saying? And hopefully I'll finish this one up soon and can get my paper bookmark out of the middle of it, right? Next up is Seraph of the End, Volume 1. This is another series that I've been wanting to read for a long time, and this volume was like 40% off at that Second and Charles bookstore, so I'm like, hey, let me go and pick it up. It's on the old Shonen Jump Advanced print label too, which is also just a little bit of a fun thing, so I picked it up, I read it. I'm decently intrigued by the story that is presented here of our main character. I forget what his name is right now, but the whole idea of like, oh man, vampires have taken over. Oh wait, that's just what they made you believe. And then the cliffhanger at the end of this volume is like, oh my gosh, would you believe the guy's best friend who you thought was dead is actually going to be an enemy? Oh my gosh. This is a series I may end up reading in the Shonen Jump app and then occasionally picking up a volume 2 or volume therefore, but just the deal I got to one at, sort of couldn't say no, and it was definitely an interesting enough story, and maybe I'll pick up more of it in the future. Then we have the Hunter x Hunter Omnibus Volume number 1, covering volumes 1, 2, and 3 of the original manga. Of course, this is a typical Viz Omnibus. It is 3 volumes shoved into this package. It's not like the Ranma 1/2 omnibuses, which are like regular nice paper. Like, this is the newspaper paper. It feels like if I rip on it too hard, it's going to like tug out like the One Piece omnibuses. But this is a cheaper way to go ahead and collect the entire series. And I have a lot of respect for Hunter x Hunter. I want to own all of it physically, and I think this is going to be the best way for me to possibly do that. So I know the second omnibus is already out at the time I'm recording this video, but I simply just have not picked it up yet. I actually haven't read this volume physically yet, and I've been trying, like, probably out of all of the manga you see here in this video, I have probably read about 70% of them by the time I'm recording this video, which is actually really good for me, all things considered, but this is one of those that I haven't quite gotten to reading yet. But not really much else to say about the Hunter x Hunter first omnibus, right? And then we have World Trigger Volume 27, and a little bit of a more interesting thing is the World Trigger Expedition Test Databook thing that came straight from Japan, pretty much. So this is the 27th volume of the manga in English. Not really much to say about it. World Trigger is arguably my favorite manga series of all time. I recently, about a month ago, went through and reread the entire series and absolutely love everything the series has to do. And while I was at it, I picked up the next volume. I had to order this off of Amazon. I know I don't like ordering books off of Amazon that way, but my local bookstores don't carry World Trigger, so it's like, if I want the new volumes, that's sort of how I have to do it. And then this book right here was a little bit of a special edition, or was a book that came with the first printing of World Trigger Volume 28 in Japan. And this is simply just a small little book going over all of the old Way Mission selection test stuff, and just giving us like, hey, here's Utagawa Squad 1, and here's all of the characters that are involved with that, and just all of going through all the squads, giving all of their stats pretty much, and all of like, hey, are they a shooter, attacker, gunner, all-rounder, operator, and all of that stuff. And it's just a small little book. I ordered this for $15 off of eBay, and just as a World Trigger fan, it is a really cool book to have. And is it something big like the Border Briefing File data book? No, but it's just a cool little thing to have as an English World Trigger fan, and I know this is never going to make it over from Japan in the slightest. So I know I count this as a volume. It's not really a volume. I guess I technically have like 48 volumes and one extra, or 47 volumes and one extra, but I'm going to count this at the end of the day. It's just a cool little trinket, you know? And of course, the World Trigger volume itself. And that is everything from the Shonen Jump line. That was a lot of manga. Actually, I think that Ranma 1/2 was from the Shonen Sunday line, so I sort of messed up my ordering there, because now we're going into all the Shonen Sunday line stuff, as we have Frieren Beyond Journey's End, Volume 13. Of course, everybody knows what Frieren is at this point. It is a brilliant manga series, and this is just the 13th volume of the series here. We sort of start on a brand new arc, bring both Land and Ubel back into the story, and it was just a really fun read, and it's really sad it's going to be about another year till we get the next volume out in English, and of course, the manga is currently on hiatus in Japan, and I hope it does come back soon. But I absolutely love Frieren, not too much else for me to say about it here, right? And then the rest of the Shonen Sunday line books I own are Mao Volume 1 through 5. I picked these up at a Comic-Con, and I actually picked up these 3 at a Comic-Con, and these 2 at that Second and Charles bookstore. And all things considered, this entire collection of 5 volumes only cost me like $25-30 if I'm not mistaken, so I definitely got a good deal on it. I got these at the same time I got the Ranma volume, so I'm like, hey, while I'm sitting down here and while I'm at it, let me just go and get some other Miko Takahashi works. Of course, this is the current manga that they are working on, and I have read, I think, the first 3 volumes of this, and maybe I've read a little bit into the 4th volume and the 5th volume. I honestly don't remember. It's definitely an interesting enough story, and I can definitely tell while it's still popular here today. Of course, here's my Mao Volume 2. It is yellowed as can be, but hey, the pages are still mostly fine. It's just the edge of the book is like, ew, that's a little disgusting, but it still reads just fine. It's going to be protected on my personal shelf here in my house, so really, what can I say about it? But it's honestly just a cool little series all about our main character, or this is not our main character, Mally, it's like our main deuteragonist character, and our main character is this girl right here, whose name is probably on the bottom. Yes, Nanoka, that is her name. And just all of the adventures they go on, and like this time travel situation. It's honestly a really cool thing, and I just don't have too much else to say about it, besides for the point of it's good, I want to read more of it, I just simply have not yet. But yeah, that is Mal volumes 1 through 5, just not too much else to say about it here, right? And that is all of the Shonen Sunday lines. I feel like I went through all the Shonen Jump titles in like 20 minutes, and I went through like those in 2, but whatever. Next up, we have Snowball Earth Volume 4 and Volume 5 from the Viz signature line. And Snowball Earth is just a really fun series. Like, what can I say? I picked up the first few volumes, not really knowing too much about it, and like, okay, I've heard people say this is good. If Viz is publishing it in English, I'll be decently interested to see what it's all about. And the first 3 volumes are good, but I really feel like this series enters its own here in the 4th and 5th volume that we get here. We really get our cast expanded upon, and we can really tell, like, okay, we know this manga is now going to survive, so we can start going into all these other arcs, all these other unique characters, seeing what they're all involved in, and just telling a really fun post-apocalyptic story, along with the whole idea of, yeah, we've got these kaiju monsters trying to eat us at the same time, as everybody is just trying to live. It's a really cool story, and I also just really love the print quality and build of these volumes. They feel like extremely solid books, and I just love the yellow here with Yuko the Machine, and the pink here with, oh, what is her name? I can't remember. Let me look in the character introduction. Her name is Hagane. That's what her name is. I would have not remembered that. I was going to call her like Miura or something, and that was completely wrong, but this is just a really good series. I definitely will recommend it to anybody sitting out there reading manga. And yeah, just not too much else to say, but then just Snowball Earth is a very fun series. And to finally finish off all of the Viz published titles, we have Destroy All Humans, They Cannot Be Regenerated Volume 1, and Destroy All Humans, They Cannot Be Regenerated Volume 3. At the point I'm recording this video, I have picked up volume number 4, but it was a July release, so it's not going to be included in this video. But this is a manga all about the card game Magic the Gathering in 1990s Japan. And it is just brilliant. I love this series to death. I always enjoy sitting down and reading the brand new volume whenever it comes out. And of course, these volumes are wrapped because in the back, they all include a Magic the Gathering card in the back. And one day I'm going to have all the volumes, going to rip all of these out and put all of the promo cards in a binder 2-page sort of deal. Like, hey, all 18 cards in a binder. But this manga is just really fun, like looking at the culture of the 1990s and looking at the budding relationship of our characters, Hajime and Satoari, as they sort of learn how fun it is to be together and to enjoy life through the lens of playing Magic the Gathering, and also all of the conflict that goes around in here. This is just a really fun series that I would definitely recommend, and yeah, you just cannot go wrong in the slightest with Destroy All Humans, They Can't Be Regenerated. A really fun manga, and especially if you know anything about Magic the Gathering, it's just going to put a smile on your face the entire time you are reading it. So definitely a really good manga here, and I know it's going to take a few years, but I cannot wait until we have all 18 volumes in English. It's just going to be an amazing time when we do. But yeah, that's all the Viz published titles, so I guess that means let's go ahead and head over to Kodansha titles next. The first few I have to talk about is Go-Go Loser Ranger Volume number 12 and Volume number 13. Of course, translation aside for the name of Go-Go Loser Ranger, I prefer to call it a series Ranger Reject, but it sort of is what it is there at the end of the day. This is a manga series by Negi Haruba, of course, the person who did the Quintessential Quintuplets manga series, and it's a pretty interesting one. I have not read these volumes yet, and I really haven't read any of my volumes since, like, volume number 8 or something like that, because that's when I started reading it online. But this is just a fun series, and it's one of those that, even though the English translation is a little botched, and I don't really like it compared to some of the fan translations, at the end of the day, it's a good manga, and I want to continue to support it, being that they are printing it in English. So not really too much to say about these two, besides for the fact of, I don't know about you, but it is obvious to me that Kodansha has worse printing than Viz volumes, because if you just, like, look at the spine of my volume, you can just see all this, like, white chipping off of it and everything. It's like, I've never had that issue with a Viz volume, but these Kodansha mangas, I feel like if I rub the edge hard enough, it's just gonna, like, fall all of the printing off, and it's like, oh, I don't really know if I like that, but that's really all I have to say about these two right here, Go-Go Loser Ranger Volume 12 and Volume 13. Next up is To Your Eternity, Volume 5. I've owned volumes 1 through 4 for like 3 years at this point, and I just have not owned volume 5 yet. And I saw it at a place and I bought it. I'm pretty sure I bought this for half off of the Second and Charles also, so it's like, yeah, real excited to sit down and read it, even though I do not remember any of the story going on. So if that tells me anything, I have not read this, but it's next. I like what I read so far of To Your Eternity, and it's just the next volume for me to sit down and read. I really don't have too much else to say about it, besides for, hey, it's To Your Eternity Volume 5. Whoa! As far as a new release with Kodansha volumes go, here I have Gaiatima, the Gigants Volume Number 1. And this is by a manga artist named Kint, and I previously have read their work Colorless, which was published in English by Seven Seas Entertainment. And whenever I saw this in the store, I'm like, oh, what is that? I'm like, wait a second, Kint, like, I know that name. And this is a very interesting series about this creature named Gaiatima, and this girl, or not a girl, this guy, I forget, I think it's a girl, I don't actually remember all really in depth all of that various stuff. It's been about 2 months since I read this volume, but our main character here was part of a town back in the day where this big creature named Gaiatima attacked. And this girl, now pretty much her and her family, make their money off of making these small vinyl figurines of Gaiatima and selling them to the world. Pretty much is like, hey, this is a town that was attacked by Gaiatima, and buy our souvenirs to give us money to pretty much rebuild all this time after it, right? And one day, Gaiatima reappears, and oh no, it completely fights off another one of these big kaiju that are coming to attack the world. It honestly reminds me of Snowball Earth in the sense of like, hey, we have these kaiju attacking, they look really weird, not like the kaiju from Kaiju number 8, but at the same time, it's like more of a current world story, right? Well, we pretty much see that she has some ties with Gaiatima, and she can pretty much summon Gaiatima through these small vinyl figures that she creates. A really interesting story, and I will be interested to see the next volumes in the series, especially being that it's by Kent. I really respected their first work, and I can't wait to see more of this one right here. I definitely enjoyed Gaiatima, and I think you guys should definitely check out at least the first volume, and if you're not into it, I totally understand. And then we have 6 more volumes from Kodansha, and these months I just got into some romance anime, you know, some romance anime and manga, and the first series, which has 4 volumes that I bought, is Tying the Knot of an Amagami Sister, Volume 1, 2, 4, and 7. So you may notice here, oh, you've got like a lot of really weird volumes of this series, and yes, Yuna is my favorite character, so I really wanted to collect all of the volume covers with her on it first that were out in English, and that's sort of what I did. I watched the anime of this series that came out, and I'm going to say, I absolutely fell in love with it. I love the premise of this series, even to the point where I did some chapter reviews of this manga on my channel, and then sort of like fell out of doing them. I promise I will get back to them eventually, it just like simply has not happened yet. But the whole idea of this series is, oh man, we have a main character named Uryu, and to go to college at Kyoto University, he has to live with these family of shrine maidens. But the only way he's able to live there is if he promises to marry one of them at the end of the day, and it is a harem manga, what can I say, but I found it really fun, I enjoy it, and I really have nothing else to say about myself here. Besides, for volume number 2, I picked this volume up for $3. I don't know why it was on such a deep discount at Second and Charles. I've read the volume. There is no print issues with it. It is completely fine the entire way through. I just don't know why I got it on the very cheap. Don't ask me, but I'm happy enough to pay $13 and I paid $3 for it instead. But really fun manga, I do enjoy it, and hopefully I can have more of an expanded collection, but it's just these 4 volumes that I picked up here in these months. So let me just go through all the volumes. This is volume number 1, number 2, number 4, and number 7. So yeah, good series. Cool volumes as well. What can I really say for myself? And then the other series I bought is the Fragrant Flower Blooms of Infinity, Volume 1 and Volume 2. This is a manga that currently has an adaptation, an anime adaptation coming out, granted here in the US. You have to, I think, sell the 7 Seas. I'm not really quite sure about it, but I think that the Netflix adaptation isn't coming out until like August or something, or like the dub and all that various stuff. They're just waiting on it a little bit, but either way, I actually picked up these 2 volumes before the anime came out just because I've heard so many good things about it for a long time, and I knew that once the anime came out, I would not be able to find these 2 volumes in stores anymore, so I'm like, let me go and pick them up and see what it's about. It's good, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but definitely I have to say I enjoy a series like Amagami Sister a little bit more. Just, I feel like the writing was a little more solid in Fragrant Flower, but this is just more stupid fun at the end of the day. And I do want to pick up more volumes of this. I thought it was good, but it's definitely going to be one of these series I'm going to be sitting on more of the back burner while other series like Kagurabachi, Gaitima, and Snowball Earth come out, and I'll pick up those, or at least, and maybe later I'll pick up the Fragrant Flower Blooms of Dignity volumes. I have nothing to say bad about these guys, though. They're just really fun at the end of the day. And this one I did take to a job with me one day, and it got a little bit of like oil and grime on the top fit, so it's like, oh no, but at the end of the day, it's whatever. These are a very premium feeling like cover. I honestly don't even know how to describe this like sort of like almost matte material, but it's not like a gloss cover like these, so it just feels really cool, and they do look pretty good on the shelf. What can I say? Even though it is the problem, like, come on, like, can we stop printing oversized volumes? I want, like, my regular size. I know I'm in, like, this camp of, like, I want the smaller art, easier to fit in the space, cheaper, but it's like, yeah. Not a bad series, though. I do really like the Fragrant Flower Blooms of Dignity. So much about Volume 1 and 2 of the series. And yeah, that is all the Kodansha stuff. Now moving on to the Seven Seas Entertainment books. I bought Box of Light Volume number 3, and I bought Re-Monster Volume 7. I really don't have much to say about these books. I bought Re-Monster Volume 7 just because I watched the anime whenever it came out, and I thought it was a fun enough series. I didn't even know they printed it in English, but in order to get a better deal on manga, I was able to pick this up for like $3, and it's like, it's worth it. Am I going to read it eventually? Maybe, but I just picked up for the fact of like I could get other manga cheaper by buying it, and I got it on the pretty cheap as well, so not really much to say there. And Box of Light is a little bit of a weird series about a convenience store on the brink of death. I was hoping to have read this volume before I did the video today, but I actually went through, read Volume 1, and got halfway through Volume 2 and completely fell asleep, so I haven't read this volume yet, so I don't really know if it's continuing the greatness that the first two volumes were, but it is Box of Light Volume 3. It's a good one. What can I say about that? I mean, I think it's a good one, but not really too much to say about these two Seven Seas pickups this month. But yeah, Box of Light Volume 3 and Re-Monster Volume 7. And then we are finally ending off the video on the Yin Press titles. Of course, starting off with Oshinoko Volume 9 and Oshinoko Volume 10. This was a manga series that I talked about on this YouTube channel for a very long time. I talked about like 60 chapters of it. And yeah, because of that, I decided to pick up the physical volumes of the manga, and would you believe me? That's what I have done. This is Volume 9 and 10, the volumes that came out during this 6-month period. And yeah, I haven't read these yet. I know it's Oshinoko. It's going to be good no matter what, so really not too much to say about these things. We have Minami and Aqua on the covers of these respectively. I remember when I first started reading Oshinoko, this was the first volume that I was there whenever it came out in Japan with, and it's honestly a little weird just to hold the volume in my hands finally in English. It's just one of those weird things. It's like, I knew it was going to happen eventually, but it's weird that it's finally happened now, you know, but not really too much else to say about Oshinoko Volume 10 besides it's cool, and Volume 9, it's cool as well. And I really do feel bad, 'cause it's like, I've been talking about all of these manga series, like, in quick succession after the Viz stuff, but it's like, I'm tired, but also I just don't have too much to say about them at the end of the day. But the final 2 volumes for this manga haul today is the Hachiochi Specialty Tengu's Love Volume 1 and Volume 2. This was just legitimately a extremely random pickup. I went to a bookstore about an hour away from where I live, just as like a little trip to just go out and do something one day while I was in college, and I'm like, oh, well, let me go there, let me go see something to pick up. And they really didn't have any volumes I was interested in. It was all stuff that I already bought, or just like they didn't have the newest volumes that had come out. And I was looking around, I'm like, oh, like I sort of want to read a romance manga, and like, oh, what is this about? And I'm like, oh, the Hachiochi Specialty, I'm pretty sure it's a town in Japan, like Tengu's Love, what is this? And I don't know why, but this is just a really fun romance series. It's about our main character here. His name is Kotoru. And pretty much he ends up meeting this Tengu named Hime when he's a small child. And later on in life, he moves back to this area. He lives all alone. And it's this whole thing to where he ends up meeting this Tengu named Hime again. And she eventually comes to live at his house to pretty much see what the outside world is like. And the two of them sort of start to fall in love together. And it's just a nice little tale at the end of the day about these two. As far as I can tell, these are the only 2 volumes that are out in Japan right now, so I don't know if there's any more of this manga coming out after Volume 2, and honestly, I'd be a little bit disappointed if it was. I have done some research, but obviously not enough to really understand everything about this manga here, but this was a really fun one, and not really too much I can say besides it was a good time at the end of the day, and honestly, I can't wait to read more of it whenever we get more of it in the future. And yeah, that is Glowplasma. Talks about 48 manga volumes he bought during the period of July and January of 2025. I know I said those months backwards, but I'm sorry. Or no, that's even wrong. It was January to June of 2025. The volumes I bought in July will be in the second manga haul that comes out this year, but either way, this was a lot of manga. I actually stacked all of these up on my floor, just like this, pretty much like sitting them down, and they come all the way up to my waistline in height. This is a lot of manga, and I just want to say, if you guys have made to this point in the video, just thank you guys for watching this manga haul. I know it was a lot to get through, but just manga hauls normally do good on my channel, so I'm guessing a lot of people have made it this far. But yeah, just thank you guys so much for watching, and normally I do a little bit of a section where I recommend you a lot of the manga that I bought this month, and really, if I had to give you my favorite manga recommendations, I think you guys should absolutely check out. Of course, one of these series is going to be none other than World Trigger. This is just an amazing manga that I think everybody should experience at least once in their life. If you don't want to buy the physicals, so be it, but at least go ahead and check out World Trigger. I'd also definitely say go ahead and check out the Hachiyoshi Specialty Tengu's Love. This was a series that I did not expect to come out enjoying as much as I did, but it was definitely just a really, really fun time. And then I would also go ahead and suggest check out Snowball Earth. I think it's also just a really fun manga. Check out Kagurabachi, and if you like card games, if you like Magic the Gathering, give Destroy All Humans They Can't Be Regenerated a chance. And those are really my main 5 recommendations. If I have to narrow it down to just 2, though, check out the Hachiyoshi Specialties Tengu Love and Snowball Earth. These are just 2 volumes that I really enjoyed and can't wait to see more of. But also, like, don't forget, check out Gaiatima the Gigants also. Like, what can I say? But yeah, with that, let's try to do the whole thing of where I line all of these manga volumes up and see if I can fit them all into frame here. But while I'm doing that, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I talk about plenty of anime and manga on this YouTube channel you are currently watching a video on right now, so if you'd be interested, go to @Glowplasma on YouTube, or just check out any of the other manga hauls I've uploaded on this channel. Like I said, I have not done one in a long while for the simple fact of, like, yeah, I was at college, I did not have easy access to books around me, and I mainly just bought books whenever I was out of town or doing something else like that. And because of that, this is the situation where we get a manga haul like this, where there are just so many volumes. But, okay, let's see, can we fit all of these in a frame? No, I don't think we can, but there is just a lot of manga here, and just thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you for the next manga haul. Presumably, it'll be happening in the end of this year, but who knows, I may decide to, like, do one in, like, 3 months, or, like, hey, the seasonal manga haul is back. But, yeah, I bought a lot of manga. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. This will be Glowplasma 231. Signing out.